Sheldon Christensen, emotional integrity. Sheldon, emotional integrity.
Thank you. Mr. Contest Chair? Is that what it's that?
Mr. Toastmaster.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. 1 week ago today, or 1 month ago today, I became homeless. The very next morning, I woke up and I could not walk without this. Within a week, the brakes failed on my car while driving down the freeway on icy roads. Sometimes emotions can get the best of us. I'd like to share a story with you. A few thousand years ago, a young prince named Siddhartha was living in the palace in India. His father had set strict rules. No one who was sick ever entered the palace. Only the best foods, cleanest environment, luscious greenery in the palace. Because his son would see nothing but the best. As all young princes do, he decided one day that it was time to go out and see what the world was really like. So he snuck out the side door. He's walking down the main road, heading right out of the palace. One of the first things he sees is a beggar, hungry and dirty, and definitely in need. And he's never seen anything like this before, so it disturbs him. He continues down the road, and shortly he comes across a house where he hears moaning coming from inside. And he looks inside the front door, and there's a man suffering terribly, dying, and clearly in intense pain. Now he's seen suffering for the very first time. He leaves that house and he continues down the road. It's getting dark. And he trips over something. And he's saying, what did I trip over? And he's feeling around and he realizes he has tripped over a dead body. For the first time ever, he's seen death. Poverty, suffering, and death. The first time all in one night. Changes his life. He decides to never go back to the palace. He heads off into the mountains and joins a group of ascetics. Ascetics beg on purpose. They go without on purpose. They live in caves. If you've ever been in a cave in India, it's not a great place to go meditate. They're full of bugs and whatever. I'll continue with this story later. Abraham Maslow showed us a theory of how people need to go about achieving their basic needs in life. He made a pyramid, and the bottom of this pyramid has 2 layers. In that pyramid, he talks about your physical safety needs, for shelter, food. And the next level up is basic things like, do I have a job? Do I have things to do? Am I basically secure in life? The next 2 levels are about relationships and integrity with life. You know, does my life match up with what I want? Am I successful? The top layer is where we're looking for how do we make creativity part of our life? How do we make self-actualization happen? How do we become the most complete person we can be at the top? Using this hierarchy, I'd like to talk about our emotions now. We have negative emotions and we have positive emotions. The 2 together help us piece together what the world is like for us, what our experience is like. Negative emotions, things like anger and fear and being distraught over what's going on, drive us to succeed, drive us to change the bad things in our life. Positive emotions, joy and love and peaceful feelings, help us to feel like we have something to accomplish, like we have accomplished something. They're our reward system. In the business world, studies have been done to show that simple rewards like verbal praise actually are more important than giving people money. More important than picking up the stick and saying, you have to change what you're doing, is this is what you're doing well, and just verbally rewarding them. The carrot of just verbal praise is more important to people then a promotion, then money. It's very interesting that that works that way. Now, we put our emotions together. We have the negative and the positive. We put them together and we can look at that and say, how does this, what's really going on in my life, relate to what the world's really like? I have bad feelings about being homeless. I have worries and frustrations about where am I going to be next month. I also have feelings of gratefulness that I know that I have places to go, that I have friends who will always look out for me. Okay? So the positive and the negative put together using integrity. Integrity meaning, does this match up with reality? The reality is, I don't have a place to go right now. But the reality is also that I know that I have good feelings about that those other people are out there. Let's go back to our story. Prince Siddhartha spent 10 years living with the ascetics, starving himself, begging, wasting his body away. At the end of the 10 years, he realized, this is not where I belong. This is not right. This is not the way to do it. So he leaves the ascetics and becomes a great teacher. He's learned from his experiences, on both sides of that. He had great pleasure in life. He had great pain in life. And he put those together and he says, this is what pain is really about. This is what suffering is about. And it's really about, how do you make life better? All life can become better, regardless of where it's at. Back to my story about myself. Again, I know I'm going to have some place to go. I know I'm going to have a place to land. I know that my health comes and goes, but it will all be okay. It will all be good.